Hi guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. I'll be sharing with you guys how to make this bustier gather dress. If that is what you're here for, make sure you stay to the end. Don't forget to like, subscribe and comment in the comment section. Let's get started. So we'll start by drafting the front pattern. Okay, so I went ahead to mark my 3x3 neck width and neck depth for the front. That is what we're working with first, and then I'm going to go ahead and mark my shoulder divided by 2, which is 7.5, and then on that shoulder I'll come down by 1 inch for the shoulder slope, and I'll go ahead to connect. I believe you know how to do a basic bodice. If you don't know how to do that, please go ahead and check out our basic bodice tutorial. It's uploaded in the channel. Okay, so I'll go ahead and create my armhole line, which is dividing your bust by 6 plus 1.5, and then I'll just go ahead and mark. I think I have mine is 7.85 or so, and then I'll also go ahead and mark my shoulder at that point just to get a straight line. So I'll just go ahead and connect, and I'll just allow you guys to watch, and then I'll just fast forward this part. So after marking out my basic measurements from the waistline, I came down by 10 inches for my hip line. So I'll be working with the hip line. Remember, this has like a two parts. That's like the lower skirt part and the half length. Okay, so we'll be drafting that together. So this is what I have for the front pattern. Now I'll go ahead to get my bust measurements, which is 38 divided by 4, and I have 9.5, and I'll go ahead to create my armhole curve. Remember, we just did the armhole line. Okay, so we'll go ahead to create our armhole curve, and I just did that. After doing that, I'll go ahead to get to nipple. For my clients rather is 7.5, which is 3.75. So I went ahead to divide that on the bust, the under bust, and on the waistline. All right, so on the underbust, I'm going to tighten. We're going to do a little bustier contouring. Now this depends on you. If you want to put padding on yours, maybe you want yours to look like a typical bustier, you know what to do on that. But I just want to do like a basic. Okay, I don't want it too much. You're not padding it as well. So I went ahead to do 0.75 on both sides. This is the normal that I will take on any person's basic body, so I just use that normal that. All right. Remember, if you've watched my basic bodies or basic gown, you will know that I stated that if you're from bust 36 to 40, you're using 0.75 for your that intake. But if you're in a smaller size, you can use 0.5 on both sides. That's 1 inch. But from 36 to 40, you're using 1.5. Okay, so after doing that, I came down from at the bust line by 1 inch or 0.75, whichever one you want. Then I used my curve ruler to create my curve. Okay, there is nothing serious. You can decide not to make yours to be like this. If you don't want it to even be a bustier, you can still do it a normal. All right, but this is the normal that I would take, so it doesn't really make any difference. So I went ahead to extend my chest line to the front, and I don't want to use exactly the chest line so it doesn't show her chest. So I want it to be a little bit covered. It depends on you. You can try to leave it at the chest line, which is still very okay, because I just went up by half an inch. And if you want yours to be very covered, you can as well go up by half an inch or even 1 inch as well. So I just connected it back to the chest line. Now on the extended line, that's on our that line, or nipple to nipple rather, I'll go ahead and contour the up. All right, so it's fits properly. So I went ahead to use 0.5 on both sides, and I think I used 0.5. Yes, so that is what I used on both sides. That's 1 inch in total. I went ahead to connect back to the bust line. Now after doing that, you're going to have to replace what we have there, and I measured. If you see, what I have there is 1 inch, so I'm going to replace that on the chest line. So I'll go ahead and replace that 1 inch on the chest line, so we don't have shortage when we are sewing. So it is very important. Okay, so on the underbust, you're going to input our underbust measurement, divide by 4, and then you're going to replace your 1.5 inch for your dart. So it depends on what your dart is. You're going to replace your dart after inputting your body measurement divided by 4. So I went ahead to do that. And also on the waistline, I'm going to also input my waist divided by 4 plus the dart intake we took earlier. So I have different videos on how to take how to put your measurements. You can start to do this method, or you do the other one where you don't add the darts. when you're measuring, so you don't have to replace any of that. But anyone you understand, it's always better you go with the one that is easy for you. So on the hip line, I'm going to go ahead and impute our hip measurement divided by 4, which is 11 inches, but I later added extra half inch because we don't want it to be tight. Okay, so from the waistline I came down by 4.5 for my dart. Eventually I didn't use this dart. Okay, so it depends on you. For the dress inspo, there was no dart on the skirt part, that's on the lower part, so I decided to remove it. But if you want yours to have that, you can go ahead to, just do it like this and then sew your darts. But for me, I eventually removed the darts. Okay, but there is no big deal there. If you want it, you can leave it. If you don't want it, just follow what I did or what I'm going to do. Okay, so having done that, I'm just going to connect all the points together. All right, I'm just going to connect all the points. Remember I said I later added half an inch to the hip line because I wanted it to be free, not like tight. It's not supposed to be tight. From the inspo, it is not tight, so just want that part to look very free. So I just added half an inch, and after connecting, this is what I have. So we're going to go ahead and work on the neck. So I'm just trying to show you guys what the neckline looks like from the inspo. So we're going to work on that. Now it depends on you. The wideness of the center, the design there, depends on you. If you want it to be bolder, you can go ahead to probably use 1.5 to 2 inches, but I don't think you should use more than 2 inches. I used 1.25, and I think I eventually went ahead to reduce it, but in total what mine was, or what my own is 2 inches if you open it, but unfold is 1 inch. Okay, so that, but on the pattern paper I marked 0.25, but when I was sewing I corrected it to make it just 1 inch. Then from the shoulder I came in by 2 inches, and I'll just go ahead to connect from that shoulder to the one on the chest line. Now from the shoulder I came in by 0.25. I don't want it to be directly on the shoulder. It is optional. If you don't want to do this, you can leave it, but for me I wanted it to just so you can relax properly. So I came in from the neckline by 0.25, and I connected it back to the neck curve. Okay, so after doing that I'll just go ahead. So in total what I have is now 1.75. So for my neck, for my shoulder side, I have just 1.75, and then for this chest line I have 1.25, but you can use 2 inch, you can use 1 inch rather if you want it the way mine came out, because mine is 2 inch if you open it. Having done that, now we are going to take our bust dart. My bust dart for this is 1.5, and I just go ahead and mark it, and that's what we have. So I'll just go ahead and use my marker to just make everything bold enough for you guys to see. So this is what we have after marking with the marker, and we are going to work on the lower part. Okay, now from the center I'll go ahead to, I marked 2 inches, but eventually went ahead to mark 2.5. Now it depends on you, depends on how high you want it. If you want yours to be more high than my own, you can probably go ahead and use 3 inches. So but for me I marked 2.5 on the center, but for now I just marked 2 inches, but I'll go ahead and correct that. Now for my pattern, what I did was just to divide the pattern with, that's my 11.5, into 2 equal halves, so you can get where the other side that is dropping is going to be. So that's just what I did. So I'm just going to go ahead and fold my tape to get the middle point, and then I'm just going to go ahead and mark that, and then I'll use my ruler to just straight it up. Let me know that this is where it is. So after doing that, you know that this point is a part that is going to, you're not removing anything, so that's the part that is every other thing is connecting to. So I went ahead to connect, or to measure the center front, which is 2.5 now, and on the side I used 3. Okay, I think I still used 2.5, but you can as well use 3 inches. Okay, but for me I think I used 2.5, and then for the front as well I used 2.5, and then I just use my hand to curve it like so. And then I'm going to use my curve ruler to just pronounce the curve, because I just wanted to see what I was going to get if I sketch it with just my hand or draw it. So after doing that, I'll just use my masking tape, my what's it called, my marker, to just mark it out, and then I'll go ahead to mark on the waistline, so we understand that we're cutting out the waist separately. Okay, we're cutting out the waist separately. That's what I'm explaining here, but we have to draft it together so it's easier and yeah, it's faster. So after doing that, this is what we have. I'm just going to go ahead and cut out this front pattern, and then we'll go over to the back. But just watch how I'm cutting all of this. So this is what we have for the front, and just make sure you always notch out the bust line when you're drafting, sorry, when you're cutting on your fabric. Now, like I was explaining earlier, you can decide to sew your darts on your fabric, but if you don't want to sew it, just go ahead and do what I'm doing, because from the inspo there is no dart on the skirt part. So what you just need to do is on the waistline, just go in by what you took for your darts. My dart, I took 1.5, so I'll go ahead and measure 1.5 from the waistline. So that's what I did here. Now just connect it back to the hip line or to the hem of the skirt part. Okay, so there is no big deal there. Just go ahead and connect. That is if you don't want the dart, but if you want the dart, please leave it and just go ahead and sew your dart. So I just went ahead to cut it off, and I think that's it for the front. So there is no big deal here. So I'm just going to label the center front, because this pattern is looking somehow. I don't understand it. So just go ahead and measure center front too, so that you don't get confused, and also make sure that you're remembering you're not sewing your dart. Okay, so this is what my front pattern looks like, and we'll go over to the back. So for the back, I've gone ahead to draft the basic bodice for the back. For my dart, I used half inch on both sides, which is 1 inch in total. And also for my waist, I came down by 10. Remember that the back waist is different from the, it's shorter by 1.5 for me. So that's what I did. So I believe you know how to do all of that. That's not a main issue here. So now on the neck width, like we did for the front, I came in by 0.25 as well, and I'm going to also mark 1.75 for the neck, for the shoulder, right? So I'll just go ahead and connect that 1.75 to the armhole. So I'll blend it into the armhole to give us something that looks like more like an alter neck effect kind of. Okay, so that is what I have. And the neckline as well, also connected. I think I forgot, but I'll do that later. Then we'll have to tighten the zipper. Remember, I don't know if you've noticed, I don't add my zipper on my pattern. I always do that when cutting, so I don't know, I just like doing that. But from on the waistline, I came in by 0.75 for my zipper contouring, and I'll just go ahead and blend in however I want it, to give us that back curve, and that's what I have there. So for the waistline, I'm going to just get the front part to just align it, just make it easier for us to curve out and then get the same shape. Okay, so I'll just go ahead and use my tape to just hold it, tape it down together. So I'll just retrace what I have for the front, for the back as well. Alright, remember we've not added our zipper allowance, so it's not affecting it yet. When you're adding your zipper allowance, just go ahead and add it the way you would normally add. Okay, so I just like to do this like this. If you want to add yours, please go ahead and do. There's no, because it's not about the pattern, I just don't like adding it, but for you, you can go ahead and add it. I just prefer to add it on the fabric when I'm cutting. So I'm just going to go ahead and just cut and cut. Cutting that, also go ahead and cut the upper part for the back, and I'll just go ahead and follow what my pattern looks like, and then I also connect that 0.25 we took out earlier, and then this is what we have. For the dart, I didn't mark the main, like that's the main, that's go, like that's my nipple to nipple measurement that you, from there you get your dart. I didn't mark it, so I'll just go ahead and mark it so that when you're cutting on your fabric, you just know where the middle point is and just go ahead and notch it, so when you're sewing it's easier for you to get. So that's just what I'm just demonstrating there. And that is it for the back. You can see what we have. By the time you sew your dart, your upper part should be matching your lower part as well. So I'm just showing you guys what I have, and this is for the front and for the back. So yeah, so that's what we have, and you can see how easy and pretty the pattern looks. Okay, I think I like how the front looks. So we'll just go ahead and start sewing. I'm going to go ahead and show you guys the fabrics I'll be working with. So I'll be working with this Ankara and this black crepe fabric. I worked with 4 yards of black crepe fabric, and I think I used about 1.5 yards for the Ankara. So it depends on your size, but from 1.5 to 2 yards should be the okay. Then I went ahead to draft to cut my lining and my main fabric. I added allowances all over, and now I'll just go ahead and start sewing. So I'm going to sew my front pattern first. I'll match the right side to right side for the center, and they are just going to go ahead and sew by the allowance you added. For me, I added 1/2 inch on the seams, the ones we're sewing, that around the I added 1/2 inch. So I'm also checking what I have. You can see that I have about 4 point something. I don't know how that one got there, because the allowance I added was 1/2 inch. So always make sure you check, because sometimes you might feel like if I added something else, I show you another thing, so you correct it. So I'll go ahead and also sew that for the back, the same thing for the lining of all of them. So I've gone ahead to sew the back, and this is what I have. I ironed them, and you can see how pretty everything is looking. I also went ahead to do the same thing for the front and also the lining fabrics. So this is what I have for the, if you're putting a stay or a foam for your bustier, you will see how beautiful it will stand, but I don't want that. The client doesn't want that actually. So we're just going to leave it that simple. So this is the lining for the front. I'm just showing you guys the lining for the front and also for the back. And I'll go ahead to just align them so we can go ahead and sew. We're not doing inseam finishing today, so we're just going to close up all the sides, the chest line, the neckline. We're just going to follow what we have there, and we'll just leave the down part open. So we are turning from that side. For the back as well, we'll just go ahead to sew the side, the armhole, the neckline, and also the zipper area, leaving the hemline or the lower parts open for turning. Okay, so just go ahead and sew also on the neckline. So by the allowance you added, for me I added just 1/2 inch allowance on all the sides aside my I added 1/2 inch, I added 1 inch on my side, and then I added my 2 inches for my zipper or something like that. So after doing that, I've gone ahead to iron, and this is what I have. I also turned them. Okay, so this is what I have for the front. If you have something like this, maybe short it, don't worry, just trim it off. That's not a big deal. That's why you need to add allowance on the hem. So for the back, this is what I have, and you can see the other side of the back. You can see our back, the zipper side is looking fly. So by the time you sew your zipper, it's going to relax very well on your back or on your body. So just go ahead, I'm just showing you guys what we have. So for the back, I'm just going to go ahead and sew off my zipper allowance. If you have a zip at this point, you can input that, but I don't have my zip at that point, so I just wanted to just cover that place first so that our measurements will be sure that it is accurate and there is no excess or shortage. So this is what I have after closing up my zipper allowance, and I'm just going to place my front pattern so we can start sewing the sides and the shoulder. Now you might encounter something. This is the thing I'm talking about. If you've placed your fabric and it happens to be that the front shoulder is bigger or is longer than the back, don't worry, don't panic. Now the most important thing is to make sure that your sides are matching together. So for me, my sides, everything is matching aside the shoulder, so we're just going to go ahead and trim it off. That's simple. Okay, don't worry that it might not the only thing is that your neckline might go up a little, but you correct that. Okay, so after trimming it off, you're going to remove those pins, because we need to correct our neckline for the front, because the neckline for the front is the same thing as the back, and if you wear it, it's going to choke you. You're not going to be comfortable at all. So we need to reduce that to 3 inches. So approximately what is there for the front right now after cutting is 1.5. So we need to taking another 1.5 again. Okay, so I'm showing you guys this thing so that you, if you have this issue, go ahead and correct it. But if you don't have it, just generally leave it. But I'm not going to, leave the errors or leave the obstacles I encounter just to show you guys the finished look. I'm going to take you through the process so you see what could probably go wrong and then correct it from here. So I'll just go ahead and mark my 1.5 neck depth, and then I'm just going to coordinate it back to the previous curve we have already, and I'll just go ahead and sew it. And then after sewing it, I'll also turn it up. Okay, I'll just turn it around and then show you guys what I have. So this is what I have. After doing that, I'll just go ahead and align it to the back shoulder, and you can see that everything is laying flat now. I'll also go ahead and take my measurements for the sides and also sew that. After taking my measurements, I've sewn it. This is what I have. I also trimmed the hemline of the dress, and this is what we have. This is what my back is looking like. Remember, I've not added our zipper allowance, so everything is coming together, right? I know. So I'm going to just measure what I have here. You're going to measure the lowest parts of, this is the lowest, the highest parts or the shortest part of the dress, so you know the length you're using for your the plain fabric for the gathers. So I'll go ahead to minus my 24 inches. I added a little allowance before placing 24 inches, and then I marked the length I wanted to flow a little bit, so I used over 60 inches, I think so. Now after doing that, I'll just go ahead to open up the zipper on the lower part, that's the down part now, where the black fabric or the gather is supposed to be. So remember, our fabric is 4 yards, so I'll go ahead and just pleat or gather. You can go ahead and create your gathers first or do it on your machine directly. So this is what I have after doing my gathers, and you can see how beautiful everything is coming together. So I'll go ahead and close up the zipper part. So this is just what I've seen. It's very pretty. I love this dress so much. I love it so much. So I'll go ahead and just close up that that zipper area, and then we'll go ahead and input our zip. And yeah, so I think I'm taking the zip. So after inputting the zip, this is what I have. You can see how beautiful our dress is looking. I love the gathers so much. They are full and they're pretty. So the beauty of this dress is making sure that gathers is full, very full. So that's what we have. And if you've watched at this point, don't forget to like, subscribe, and comment in the comment section. And yeah, see you guys in our next video. Thank you so much for watching. Bye.